I want to go back to this idea we were talking about this morning, because I think it's such a problem for people. This idea of trying to become something, trying to become lovable, acceptable. Trying to win the favor of people around you and society, if you will, or deciding, forget it, I don't care what they think, and you go into a kind of opposite routine of rejecting everyone and rejecting the world's love and just be yourself, and all of those sort of angry outbursts that a lot of people have. Excuse me. But this morning we talked about this idea that you are loved exactly as you are. And I think almost everybody rejects that idea. You sort of think, well, if I could become this or that, then okay. Then the universe would love me as I am. But they can't love me in this condition because I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm overweight, I have pimples, I have whatever the thing is that people tend to feel about themselves that is rejecting. And that rejection of yourself is much more painful and much more the drama of human life than the universe's rejection of you. Because one of the things you truly begin to understand when you go deeply, deeply into your own inner being is that this love simply fills you. You are the manifestation of love. And the brain doesn't compute that. The brain immediately goes but. And you can go but as much as you want. But I have discovered from my own inner practice that the love that pours through this body into the world around me is what and who I am. And that it is not distinctively different than what and who you are. If you could give it a chance and just start to feel the truth of your own being, you would feel so filled with this light and love and comfort at being you, as messed up as you may be. The universe doesn't care. You care. The universe will take you just like you are. It brought you into the world. It set you on a path over which you have had very little control. The only control you can exercise in life, and we used to get graded in this in elementary school, was self-control. Can you control your impulses? Can you not hit your sister? Can you not forget to throw the trash in the garbage can? These are little things you can learn in life that train you to be a functioning, capable, good human being. But mostly, you're just on a ride that was preset on some level. Yes, you have variabilities in the ride you take. Yes, the universe has moments where it opens up all sorts of doors for you, and yes, there are times where the universe closes all sorts of doors for you, and they are not acts of aggression or of hostility. They may be obstructions, they may be difficulties, but they are part of what non-dual people call duality. Duality is yes and no, good and bad, free-flowing, obstructed. Life is a constant version of that. And as I tried to express in the class this morning, the outside world, the world around you, from your body out, is a world of duality. It's a world of struggle, beautiful moments, terrible moments, love, hatred, all of the things that come into manifested states. Because the world can't function without the polarities that exist within it. It's what drives us. It's what makes things happen. The pursuit of love, the escape of fear, the desire to be with somebody, the desire not to be with somebody. This is what keeps the world going. The desire to make a difference, the desire to hide, the desire to be something or to be nothing. These are all of the factors that construct the universe that we live in. And this universe that we live in is very attractive to us. It's very powerful. And we love being here. And the fact that you're here in this world makes you want to have a sense of prominence and a sense of acceptance in the world, a sense of having arrived on some level. And so the drama, the drive to achieve is inbred in all of us. And some of us are helped along the way, some of us are obstructed. Some of us come into the world with many strikes against us, some come in with all the doors open. It doesn't matter because the ride itself is everything. The joy of life is not so much the getting or the having as the arrival at getting and having. The work, the struggle, the making of things. It's the thing that we're here to do. We're here to find love. We're here to find friendship. We're here to find acceptance. We're here to find all of the things that make it wonderful to be alive. And in many cases we succeed, in many cases we fail. And it's kind of like the universe is expecting you to go through this incredible dance of being. And its objective is not an objective in the world. That's the big problem. It's be in the world, touch the world, smell the world, taste the world, embrace it, love it. But the objective isn't here for one primary reason, and that is it's a temporary space. It's impermanent. Nothing new here. This is old teaching. Buddha said the world is impermanent, and we all know that. So the entire dance that we do in the world to achieve and to get and to be loved and all of that is, in a sense, not exactly a waste of time because it's an amazing ride. But the goal is to find this inner space from which all of this arises. What is this that we're in? From whence does it come? How did we get here? Questions that philosophers and theologians have asked from time immemorial. These are questions that people provide answers to, but they don't add up. Because every answer that you get from Buddha on down, from the Bible on down, wherever you go to as a source of knowledge and wisdom, all of that knowledge and wisdom evaporates with you. It cannot carry you to the grave. It can lead you. It can help you figure out how to live your life a little more comfortably, a little more easily, a little more lovingly. But really, what happens in this journey inward is you start to discover the source of this outer expression. You discover that from which you arise, from which you come. And the only way to discover it is to go in. And if you look around us at our particular society, try to show me how many pointers there are, how many people there are telling you that. When in elementary school did anybody ever tell you, go inside and find the joy of being? When did anybody say, well, you may have heard, look into your heart. But who told you how to do that? How do you look in your heart? It's very hard to figure that out. Where are the directives for these kinds of activities that might make us happier, more complete human beings? Where does it come from? Well, this idea of meditation, sitting still, allows us to enter a pinpoint of interior space, or if you will, a huge door of opening to who you are, and to step into the temple of your own existence and discover what has always been there. And as I said this morning, this is the world of time and space. This is the world of timelessness and no space, spaceless reality. The world that we live in is meant to be seen and touched and felt and smelled and loved and embraced and hated. Whatever you need to do with it, that journey is being deeply observed by and embraced by this inner thing that's watching. The observational you, the awareness of the you that is there simply, in a sense, as the space in which all this is occurring. One of the things you discover when you go deep inside is that everything around you is just an expression of that. I often talk about the heart chakra as a space of profound embrace. Something just says, come on in. You can't go in if you don't try to get in. Stumbling around through life is a problem. It doesn't have a directive. The door in is right here, in the middle of your heart. You actually have a lot of entry points. They're called chakras. Any one of them has an entry point into something that is celebratory. It is wildly unmanifested. It's the seed form of everything that has ever been or ever will be. And it's within your own purview to experience it. Just go in. You can make it hard. They often talk about sitting at the door or the gates of the temple, sitting for years and years and years, trying to prove your worthiness. Try opening the door. Go in. Step inside. Step into you and find out everything I'm talking about. And you find this thing that loves you because it created you. Any of you who are parents, for the beginning anyway of your child's evolution, is total love. Then they become part of the outer directive of the world. You know, they become people who yell back at you and say no and create all these problems. And then you have to fight to maintain the love and the connectivity you have to your own children. It's really kind of amazing. You know, you don't expect that to happen. But this source inside you loves you no matter what you do, no matter how you perform in the world, and it wants one thing for you, to find your way back to that love and to that opening and to that acceptance. The key way to avoid that is to live completely in your ego-minded self. This thing that forms in your throat chakra, this me, I character, who cares about and worries about itself over everything, is the source of all of your suffering. It is always projecting outward. The only thing it can do that goes inward that's really valuable is called prayer. But the outward manifestation is me. And I know this is going to sound weird, but yourself still loves you in that. But it feels for you because it feels your pain and suffering at being totally lost in a world of image and illusion that you are creating and supporting and advertising to everybody. You're basically saying to the world, love me. Love me. When you're already loved. You're already full of this love, but you are cut off from it because you're living in this ego-minded space that all it thinks of is, I want love from the outside. And here's the truth. Unfortunately, all of that love that comes at you from the outside, I don't care who you are, if it comes at you, it is temporary. Judy Garland used to talk about how she would go off the stage where people were standing in the aisles screaming their love for her, applauding, yelling, we love you, Judy. She walks off the stage, she goes home by herself. We all do. You go home by yourself. You may have a few people have a drink with you after or whatever you do. You still go home by yourself. Close the door, you get in bed, and you're alone. It doesn't follow The love from outside you doesn't follow. It is part of the impermanent reality of our lives. The permanent reality of our lives is right here. And it's one thing to walk into that space once in a while, but what you discover is it kind of needs constant activity to penetrate this space. It closes down. If you don't enter the temple shuts down. It just stays closed. If you don't remember to go inside, you can't light the candles, you can't worship, you can't do anything. You're just in the world. So you have to make the effort to knock on the door, knock and it shall be answered, or just get the key and go in. And if you can go inside every day, it's really interesting, because sitting inside this space is, in a sense, something that knows what to do. In the outer world and in the inner world, it knows what to do. It knows what to say. It's amazing to watch people who have the gift of articulate speech, poetic speech. Why? Because it's coming from the depth of the throat chakra. His speech comes out and it speaks with such clarity and perfection because the person and the ego isn't speaking, the self is speaking. The love that pours out of the heart into the world around you is this exquisite love that isn't your love, although it is, it's infinite love. And it pours right through you. Why should you not walk around every day experiencing that? The only reason is ignorance. It's the only reason. Because you're so caught up in the outer, because everyone around you reinforces the outer, so you live in the outer and you get miserable. And you get miserable because it doesn't deliver. It never will deliver. This delivers. And it delivers all the time. You should try this. We don't have a lot of cafes in America, but you have some. But go somewhere, an airport, somewhere, sit and just watch the people go by. Get very quiet, get very non-judgmental, just observe and watch this thing inside you go out, and you will discover that you are in love with every person who walks past you. You feel them. You feel their journey. You feel the problems that they have, the ignorance that they're dealing with. You feel their hope. You feel their ambition. You feel the love of when they hold their child's hand. I walk through an airport now, and my heart is aching for a lot of reasons. One of them is because I love parents and children, and I love the trust that I see in that relationship, and because we have a country that's separating parents from children, which I find heart-wrenching, and because I imagine the people in front of me going through that, and I cannot bear the suffering of that. And so I have this thing that's happening inside me that is feeling beyond anything I had ever imagined I could feel. But it is an amazing thing because you're experiencing the vastness of feeling, the vastness of emotion, rather than just loving one person. Rather than just loving your child, loving everybody's child, everybody's parent, everybody's grandparent, everybody in a wheelchair, everybody who's pushing people in the wheelchairs. Airports are amazing to watch the stream of life and know that you can open up to all of it. This thing inside you is all of that. This love inside you is the love of all there is. And it starts with loving you. Truly starts with loving you. And if you're not feeling that, you will not feel it for everybody else. It will be obstructive. It will be judgmental. It will be mental. You'll look at everybody, oh, they got this problem. Oh, they should have done this. And oh, she's too fat. And oh, she's too skinny. And oh, my God, all these terrible things. That is a horrible way to see the world. It is unsatisfying. It may be fun. It may be catty. You can talk with your friends about so-and-so this and so-and-so that. And you get reaffirmed in your, this person loves me because I see the world in the same awful way they do. But that's not the same thing as loving the world and starting out by loving you. The more you love yourself, the more this ego-holding pattern starts to disintegrate. You start to go from what I call the I to the we, or Buber's terms, from the I to the thou. You reach out into the other and discover it as the self. That is the journey we're on. And if you sit here in this class, or you listen to this talk, and you stop long enough, preferably every day, to sit down and stand inside this space called your heart, which is literally a place in the center of your chest that may feel like nothing until you fall in love. When you fall in love with somebody, you're going to go, you'll feel it. It's right there. That's how you find it. You feel it. When you see somebody that you care about, when my grandkids run in the room, I don't have to search for my heart. It's breaking out of my chest. That's your entry point. You go into that space and you have access to this world. Now, if you don't have grandchildren or you don't have anybody you love, that's a problem, because it'll be hard to find that arena. But if you can find anyone, you can get a dog, a cat, a mouse, it doesn't matter. Something that allows you to feel this little space. Go in there, pet your little mouse, and go, oh. This thing will start to open, and then you will love the mouse, the dog, the cat, the person next door to you, the whole building, everybody on the street, the world, life itself, and you'll be a different person. It all starts with this tiny little space. And if you make the effort, it will give back, and if you don't make the effort, it will not. And it doesn't care, because it loves you, and it totally allows you your choices, for better, for worse. You decide what you will make of your journey. You make that choice. So if you're being instructed to sit down once a day, practice, feel your way into your heart, and I will tell you, you can also feel your way into your third eye and into your navel chakra and into your throat chakra. You can feel your way into the very top of your head, into your sex chakra, into the base of your spine and the whole Kundalini universe. And you can feel all of these energies starting to move through you, and the course of love moves through you like a river. And then you can just send it out. And there's no effort, that's where it wants to go. It wants to go to you, because it loves you from the inside and it loves you from the outside. It just does. It does not judge you. It doesn't say, oh, if only this or only that. You're the one who says that. So act on your own thoughts if you want. Make yourself a better person, a more open person, a more loving person, or not. It won't change the equation, but it will change your journey. If you want to take charge, just go, I accept myself as I am. And this judgmental thing starts to fall away, and as it falls away, this love that emerges starts to do things. You'll decide you don't need to eat 14 Hershey bars a day. It doesn't happen because you love yourself, and the Hershey bar doesn't really help. And so suddenly you've just lost 30 pounds because you loved yourself. You didn't need outside versions of that. You didn't need people to tell you you were wonderful, because you knew you were wonderful. So you don't have to dress like you're wonderful. You just dress like you're comfortable, and people go, boy, you look great, because you look wonderful, because you found you found your style. You know, if you walk around with your pants falling off like I do, you know, you have this experience of people looking at you and laughing and smiling, and I go, they got some fun out of it, you know. But I don't have a butt. I can't help I don't have a butt. That's the way the universe created me, and I cannot find a pair of pants that fit. And it took me a long time to go, okay, let them enjoy it. Nothing I can do about it. I tried, and it never worked. So you learn to get to these places in yourself that are just like, that's who I am. And it's a good place to live. And if you find that place, you will be much happier. And if you go inside and you do the work and you dig into the open doors that you have within yourself, you will find access to the infinite, eternal reality that you are. Wow. Why would you not want to do that? There's no reason other than the fact that nobody has basically told you to do it until maybe today, or you've heard it on these talks before. But you're not getting it from the movies, you're not getting it from TV, you're not getting it from the news, you're not getting it from the newspaper. Time magazine doesn't talk about it except about mindfulness meditation is, helping produce more workers that are happy. That's fine, but the reality is, you have to find the thing in you that says, okay, I will do this. I do this because I want to feel this joy of being that is residing right here. That's all. Step inside and it's yours. That's all I gotta say. So, lots of love, literally, to all of you. You are incredibly special, every one of you, and if you're not feeling that, listen to this talk again, if that helps, and if that doesn't help, pick up some Buddha teachings or some Christ sayings or whatever it is that works for you, and try to trust that the kingdom of heaven is within. Any questions? It's wonderful to be so clear. Precise. What? Throat chakra. Thank you guys for coming.